So a lot of our listeners won't even know what we're talking about when we talk about the blizzard of '78.
Oh, sure.
Right? It's just people that are our age that remember the blizzard of '78.
Sure.
I mean, I'm talking about snow having drifted up to close to the power lines, right?
Yes.
It was so high.
Yes.
So you were plowing snow in the blizzard of '78, and what happened to you?
Well, we had 5-speed split shift automatic or transmission, so it was a clutch transmission back then. I want to iterate that a little bit because everybody now drives a truck, so I can drive a truck. Well, you're not really driven a truck until you've had a clutch in your truck. So I'd filled up, and we had gas motors. We didn't have diesel motors. Those didn't come along until about, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. So I filled up my fuel tanks, and I left Lebanon, and I drove to Dover, which is about 10 miles west of Lebanon on State Road 32. That route consisted of turning right on 75 and going up to Thorntown, and then coming back out of Thorntown and going down pretty much to Jamestown, and then come back up to 32. That was the route.
Yeah, so when you plow, you're plowing a route, right?
Yes, yes.
So I don't think the general public at large understands necessarily that you guys all have routes that you're working on,
Correct.
right? And those routes have priorities to them.
Yes,
There's
they do.
certain routes you start with first,
Yes.
and then you move down the priority
Yes.
list. But anyway.
Yes. So generally our unit, I think we had about 10 routes, if I remember correctly. So judging on what route you were on is where you were going. So anyway, made it back from Thorntown into Dover, started going south, and about 2 miles south of 32, I just stopped. I mean, it was blowing and snowing. You couldn't see the hood ornament on your truck. That's how bad the snow was.
Yeah, and that hood ornament can't be more than
It was
what?
like 4 foot in front of the windshield, and you couldn't see it. So I just stopped, and we had radios.
You didn't know where the road was at that point.
Well, maybe.
You can kind of feel it under you, but
Yeah. So anyway, I radioed Frankfurt because I worked out of Lebanon, but Frankfurt was our main hub. Lebanon unit is a subunit of Frankfurt. And so I called them and said, hey, I'm on 75 south of Dover. I can't go anywhere. And they, okay, turn around and come back. Well, I couldn't turn around and come back. I was just stuck. I sat there, couldn't go anymore. That was just it. And there's nowhere to go. So I called Frankfurt. And they said, we'll have somebody out. Well, that never happened because nobody could get out.
So you spent a lot of time the first night waiting for someone to...
Waiting for somebody to come, and you sleep when you can, being able to bend my body a lot different than what I can now. It wasn't too bad.
Because those trucks aren't all that comfortable, are they?
No, they're 2 seats with a hydraulic box and a big handle in the middle. Is that
Right.
how that one was? And a gear shift. So the first night I was there was that. The next day was the long day. That's when it got daylight, and my goodness, you couldn't see the hood ornament. You think, oh, I got to go out and go to the bathroom someplace. What do you do? How do you do that? And so you managed to get out of the truck, and then you realize, literally, you couldn't see 4 feet in front of you.
Right. You want to be within arm's reach of the truck all the
You want to
time.
know where you are
Right.
the whole time. So that day, I would imagine I just in and out of the truck, just try to stay warm, do whatever. I called in Frankfurt. Hey, we got people on the way, and do whatever the story was. And
Checks in the mail.
yeah, and so I sit there just on the radio and just what do you do? And looking around, trying to figure out where I was at. But that was a solid all day long. You just couldn't see. You had no idea where you was at. And then the third day when I was there, which was the morning, that's when the snow had finally quit. And then you were able to see the sunshine and see the humongous snowdrifts up to the top 3 or 4 foot of the foam pole, and you could look over and say, well, there's a farmhouse, that's great. And then even to walk from the farmhouse to the truck,
Was no easy
the
task.
snow was
Right.
above your head, and you were afraid to step because okay, I'm going to sink down. Okay, I get stuck. Now what do you do?
Right. Well, so we're all taught, if you're stuck in your car like that in snow, you have to run it once in a while to stay warm.
Oh, I never shut the truck off.
Really?
Nope.
Which means you got to make sure the exhaust keeps cleared.
Absolutely.
In the case of a truck, the exhausts are
Right.
above you, right? So
Right.
it's not
Yeah,
as
there were
critical.
stacks coming out of the
Yeah.
top.
But in your case, the snow was starting to come
over the top
of the truck, right?
Yeah. Now it kind of kept it melted and stuff. I mean, obviously I checked when I could check, but yeah, you're right. You had to make sure, and that thought crossed your mind. I hope I wake up alive and not dead.
So you spent 3 days in the cab of that truck.
I did, and the morning of the third day, the sun was out. It was a beautiful day. I would never forget that. And had somebody, and you get out on the driver's side. I was going south. So everything from the west of where the snow was coming in,
right,
it had blown up over the truck, in front of the truck, and behind the truck. So I had like a little alcove that I could kind of get out on. So the farmer, whose house wasn't 100 feet away, but you couldn't see it, he come out and said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yep, I'm fine." He said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Yes, sir." So he come in and he fixed me some breakfast.
Really?
And I radioed Frankfurt, said, "I'm out of the truck. I'll be in the farmer's house." Well, while I was out, his son had got out a tractor. It had a snow blower on it from the barn, and it blowed everything around me. And I got to looking, oh my goodness, half a mile, quarter mile long, whatever, just snow all the way up to the top of the phone poles, almost to the top, like 3 foot away.
Right.
You could easily walk up. So I just amazed, wow, that's a lot of snow. So anyway, I got back in the truck and I said, "Okay, I'm out. I'm heading back in." They said, "Well, you're about the only one out. We really want you to go to Zionsville." Well, Zionsville is where all the politicians live and that kind of stuff.
So with one meal in 3 days, you got to go plow snow.
I had to go. Everybody did. So when I got out I got back in, 32 is an east and west road, so that it wasn't blowed like the north and south roads were. So I could get back into Lebanon, and I got on 65, and I went down to State Road 334, which I think is now Whitestown Avenue or something. Mm-hmm. It's not State Road 334. But when I turned to go there used to be a Stuckey's truck stop and a Shell station, and then it was open fields pretty much all the way in. Well, that had blowed across just like it did where I would come from.
Right.
So I got on the radio and I said, "Hey, it's not going to work." "All right, well, come in and take 32 out of Lebanon going east down to 421 and take 421 in." Well, I was able to make that particular run. But okay, so once I got there, you couldn't do anything. I had no help. There wasn't anybody there. Everybody was snowed in. So, okay, I'm here. So long story short, they ended up, all the crews started coming in, and we got the payloader. Yes. We just kind of ate our way through the snowdrifts. Oh, my word. Weeks, it seemed like, you'd eat, yes, and you'd have snowdrifts that were 15 foot tall, and if you met a car, if you're driving through, somebody had to back out. Right. That's just how it was.
I remember the road around the corner from our house. I grew up in the country. I remember them plowing it. They didn't plow it. They used a payloader to dig one lane out.
Yep, that's what we did.
I mean, and it was
tall.
Yes.
Yeah, and I tell my grandkids about that, and they're just, "What?"
Yeah, they don't. I mean, again, you go back to being trapped in the truck. You're saying, look, the wind chill easily reached 50 below that night, right?
Yeah,
while
yes,
you were in that truck.
Sure.
And the snow's blowing so hard, you basically can't see your hand in front of your face if you're outside the truck.
Nope.
And I'm not sure if you've never experienced that whiteout.
Oh.
Whiteout can be very frightening when you're driving, right?
Yeah, sure was.
I'm not sure people are as familiar with that anymore.
Yep.
So I assume you had some snacks in the truck with you.
No, I had nothing, absolutely nothing.
No water?
No, just snow.
Eating snow?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I had. Yep. And they made fun of me after that when I come in. It seemed like I'd bring a bag full of groceries in with me. But if you remember that snow forecast, it was flurries. They didn't say anything about a blizzard at all.
I just remember it was blowing so hard.
Yeah, that's what it come in as, just snow flurries, and then it just got worse and worse.
Well, my story from the blizzard, we have a lot of them, but I just remember I grew up in an old farmhouse that was built around the turn of the century. And by turn of the century, I mean the 1800s to the 1900s.
Oh, okay.
And the farmhouse didn't have great windows in it. And we got up after that big storm that next morning. That storm had driven through the west windows, had driven snow in through the windows, and there was snow still on the carpet in the house because it was so cold in the house, the snow wouldn't melt.
Yeah.
That was quite the story.
Sure. Well, I remember, I forgot to tell you, but we had, I did tell you we had gas motors, but we used to take bread wrappers, like Wonder Bread wrappers, and we would put them over the top of the distributor. Because the distributor in the
keep it
motor,
dry.
yeah, to keep it dry. A lot of people don't. What are you talking about?
They don't know what a distributor is.
But yeah, that's how we kept it dry. And you would just plow, and your truck would start to spitter and sputter, and you just hope to keep it running. So you'd stop and let it, dry out and warm up a little bit, and then head on down the road. Used to have snow. Or half the time, these trucks, the defrost wouldn't work or the wipers wouldn't work, so you'd be driving down the road, and our scraper was about that long, and we'd kind of reach around and try to do that.
That doesn't sound OSHA approved, by the way.
Probably wasn't, but you wanted to keep moving. I knew that.
I had a snowplow driver tell me one time that to help keep the windows defrosted in a snowplow, they would put a little fan up behind them and blow air onto the window all the time, and that would help keep that defrosted.
Sure. Sure.
I think snowplow drivers are amazing, because when I need to get from point A to B when there's a snowstorm going on, I like the fact that they're keeping roads open, right?
Sure.
But it's not an easy job.
No.
Right? It's not. You have to be really focused all the time, correct?
You sure do.
I mean, you just can't. Your mind can't wander, because if it does, the next thing you know, you're plowing out mailboxes or.
That's happened a time or two. Sure has.
Well, my mailbox has been taken out a time or two.
Yeah.